Call.
Yes, a brief call, Mr Chair. Thank you very much.
Catherine Delahunty.
I'd just like to echo the words of my colleague Grant Robertson in relation to local efforts. I guess living in the Tairāwhiti, the Tūranganui-a-Kiwi era, we had the first contact site between Captain Cook and the local people there was represented by a statue that was eventually surrounded by logs at the port. And the local community and the local heritage community did a lot of work to try to persuade the port about this thing called a cone of vision. And I ended up the mediator between the port and the local committee trying to protect this. And it was a fascinating experience because this is a place where Captain Cook first met the tangata whenua, and the circumstances are historically painful in terms of the death of a number of people from Ngāti Onioni. But it was important to everybody, tangata whenua, the local heritage committee, the museum, that there wasn't just a statue surrounded by logs with no sight of the sea. And so we went through a negotiation process on that, and it made me aware of the work that local committees have put in. Now, I think that we need to modernise, and I appreciate that we need to recognise, particularly because some of the committees around the country have done tremendous work but very much siloed away. So they've been Pākehā committees that have been siloed away from hapu. But I think that's changed, and what's more, I think this bill will help more change because it does so strongly acknowledge the importance of that relationship under Te Tiriti o Waitangi. So I just want to acknowledge all the work of those people in the past. In terms of the cone of vision, we all need a broad vision in order to protect our sites, starting where we first met, which is why I wanted to stand up and acknowledge the work done in Tūranganui-a-Kiwi on that issue, and to acknowledge the importance both of that contribution but also a true treaty-based relationship for the future management of our heritage. Kia ora tātou.
Members, we move to the vote on Part 5. First, we have the Minister's amendments as set out on SOP number 444. The question is that the amendments be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question now is that Part 5 is amended stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. We move to the schedules, and we have the Minister's amendments as set out on SOP number 444. The question is that the amendments be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question now is that the schedule is amended stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Members, we now come to the clauses. The question is that clauses 1 and 2 stand part. The question is that Clause 1 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. We move to Clause 2, but first we have the Minister's amendment as set out on SOP number 444. The question is that the amendment be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question now is that Clause 2 as amended stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. I will report this bill with amendment presently.
Why were you so cooperative? Was something wrong?
Why were you so nice?
Because Phil was so good.
Members, we now move to consideration of the Credit Contracts and Financial Services Law Reform Bill. The question is that Part 1 stand part.